What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video I have the key to a 2021 Toyota Supra with the 3-liter inline 6-cylinder engine sitting alongside my 2020 Toyota Supra. Both of these cars are premiums, they're identical specs, however the years are obviously different. So today this car is being lended to us by Carolina Auto Direct. Definitely check out the link to their website in the description below. They have a huge selection of amazing pre-owned cars and a ton of nearly new cars like the Supra, so check out them linked down below. So in today's video, we are basically going to see, was I wrong about the 2021 Toyota Supra? When these first hit dealer lots, I got to drive one around. I only drove it on slow speed roads, and honestly, I was not impressed. I felt like there was a lot of turbo lag. It didn't feel quick at all compared to a 2020 because you get instant torque with this car, and I was left pretty underwhelmed with the performance of the car. It just felt laggy. I know it does have more top end, but the around town driving I wasn't happy with. On top of that, it's a lot quieter. The exhaust kind of loses all the little burbles and things like that. But in today's video, now that we have a pre-owned car with 5,000 miles to drive around on some real roads, we're gonna get a much better understanding of the 2021 Toyota Supra. And now with tuning and things, I've learned a lot more about what these cars can do. So now let's go ahead and hop in the 2021 Toyota Supra, really get our bearings with it, and see if I was wrong about it. All right guys, so we are setting off now in the 2021 Supra. There is my 2020 Supra. But this will be interesting because when I drove the 2021 last time, I just didn't really get to understand it and experience it, I think, in the best way possible. So with that said, we have some more fun roads today to really drive the car like a normal car. We have over 5,000 miles, so it's nicely broken in compared to a brand spanking new car. All right, so as we take off, we are in the normal drive, basic normal driving mode, no sport mode or anything like that. First and foremost, of course, this is way quieter than what I'm used to. That is definitely a big difference between my own car. As far as ride quality right now, as we are getting up and going around 45 miles an hour, it feels like mine just in a normal straight line. We have some twisty turns we're going to experience, but I am interested to see one of the biggest things I noticed with my car. Now, my car is tuned and it makes 450 horsepower at the wheels with 560 wheel torque. It is very, very quick. This car, bone stock, has around 380 horsepower and they dyno around 380 at the wheels. And then my car, when it was stock, the engine says it has like 335 horsepower, but they dyno at 350. So the 2021 Supra does have about 40 more horsepower at the wheels comparing it to a 2020. Torque numbers are nearly identical. The only difference is the torque in this car comes in a little bit later. I think this one, it's like 700 or 800 RPM later than the torque curve, the peak that you get on a 2020. And that difference is because this one, the turbo is a little bit different, it's a little bit bigger, and the actual turbo manifold. This one has an actual turbo manifold versus being it all built into one, like on the 2020 Supra. So they did a lot of differences with the V58 engine, and it does in fact have more horsepower. But the downside that I felt like when I drove the other one around town is because you have the extra turbo lag, the later torque curve, it just made it feel like the car was slow and laggy around town. Now my other car, for those of you who are new to the channel, is the Nissan GTR. That car is slow around town. You hit the gas in a higher gear, lower RPM, and it's really slow and laggy. So with that said, the car is nice and warmed up now. We have the torque display right here. If I do give it some gas and drive, under 3,000, I will say that was half throttle. It doesn't feel crazy quick. We'll get on some better roads in a second, but you can feel how the power in this car is more linear versus the 2020. It hits you and then it starts tapering off in the higher RPM. So that will be an interesting difference. All right, so now that we are on a fun twisty road, we're gonna put it in manual mode and in sport mode. This is where we're gonna really see some differences. First and foremost, you really lose a lot of the gurgles, which half the people don't like, so I can kind of see that. Yeah, you definitely lose a lot of the gurgles as far as nice and twisty turns. I will say, once you're moving, you don't notice that lack of turbo lag or anything like that. The car carries the power really well. I do like that. And I will say the handling feels pretty much identical. I have lowering springs on my car, and it really does a good difference as far as how well the car handles. As far as some acceleration, wow. So you definitely feel the difference in top end. It just keeps carrying, and I had my my car in the stock tuning map on the way over here, and that puts it at exact stock levels. Torque curves and everything were identical to my car when it was bone stock. And when you get above 4,000, you do kind of feel how that instant torque kind of fades away, and it starts dipping down to where you don't have that top end to carry you. So we're gonna do an acceleration from a standstill now. We're sport mode, manual. We'll do sport traction, second gear. Wow. So it's a much smoother power band. I do like that. And one issue I do notice with the 2020 is there's almost too much torque, especially tune. You hit the gas slow speed like that in second gear and you're gonna spin the tires, which kind of takes away from the acceleration, because when you're spinning, you're not accelerating, and it kind of ruins it a little bit. This car, the horsepower feeling is much more gradual and smooth, like you would find in a more performance-oriented car, even like a GTR, like an M4, something like that. And I do kind of like that. I wouldn't say one is necessarily better than the other, but I think if you're looking for a Supra on the used market now, because they're great deals, this one, a great price for 5,000 miles on it, you have a really wide array of cars that you can pick from, and the 2020 is going to be a little bit cheaper as well. So with that said, you could buy a 2020 for maybe $5,000 less than a 2021 and put a bigger turbo on it and have that gradual power band, or you can just buy a 2021 and with tuning available for this car, you kind of already have that. So I think at the end of the day, it's kind of a 50-50 decision. They can both do the same thing. I think it's just stock for stock. You're going to drive them a little bit differently to get the fun factor out of them. Now with all that, with tuning, it seems like all the 2021s are actually locked. The ECU is locked. They've done updates with the car, and you can't just easily get a tune on them. My friend actually just bought a 2020 Supra, and his car, his VIN number compared to mine, was only 100 cars different than my car, and he went to get his car tuned with a downpipe and everything, and his ECU was locked. So the previous owner must have brought his car to a Toyota dealership or something, and they locked the ECU. It was like 500 bucks extra, and the tuning shop was able to unlock it using whatever new program. So from what I'm seeing, I think you can actually tune a 2021. If you own one that is tuned, comment down below what is your experience with that. I just think that they need to do a little bit extra steps to get it unlocked. So as far as tuning, if you can tune both cars, which it seems like you can, I think you do have a great platform with the 2021. It already has the bigger turbo and the better turbo manifold setup over a 2020. And I think price-wise, it'll kind of be the same. You either get this car the way it is and tune this up, downpipe, full bolt-ons, make this probably over 500 horsepower at the wheels, or you buy the 2020, save yourself a couple $1,000s on the used market, but you have to spend a few $1,000s to get a bigger turbo. So honestly, now that I've driven this car on more fun roads, actually experiencing it, another acceleration in third gear starting at 3,000 RPM. I like how the power builds in this car, because with my car, especially now that we are getting out of winter, in winter I can't drive the car on my full tune on the full highest map because it spins all the time. At 2,000 RPM in a 2020, even stock, you spin the tires. It has too much torque stock like that, and then tuned with my car, it has even too much torque, and you need to get bigger tires, more aggressive meat on the back. So I am liking this a lot better than I thought. I think my first video, I was driving it realistically in the worst possible setting, the around town slow speed driving, and that probably really wasn't giving me exactly what I wanted out of the car. So first gear. Yeah, when you do that, it's nice and linear feeling. The exhaust though, it's crazy, there's no sound to it. There's like the tiniest little gurgle between upshifts, but really nothing compared to the 2020. But I know with modifications and a full exhaust, I think you can get those back a little bit if you like them. But yeah, I think a 2021 Supra is still a great pick. I don't think you can go wrong with either car, quite honestly. And being the pricing is different, like I said earlier, you either get a 2020 and that money you saved on the car, you put a bigger turbo on it, or you just buy the 2021. The suspension, I will say, I don't notice a single difference with my car. It feels very nice. The magnetic suspension is fantastic in the car. Normal mode, it absorbs the bumps very well. When you put it into the sport mode, hitting these bumps, I mean, you can feel all the bumps way better, and it's definitely more tight on the back roads. And a set of lowering springs, I will say, do a lot for this car. I think that is a must-have for the Supra. Other revisions they made to it, I think they might have tweaked the brakes. I can't quite remember. They feel the same to me, hitting them. I mean, they work really well. But yeah, the 2021 Supra, can't go wrong with the A90 Supra in general. I think it's a really good blend of a sports car. Pre-owned cars now, you're looking in the mid to low 50s, and heck of a car. So I think that is then it for today's video. Huge shout out and thank you to Carolina Auto Direct. They're providing this Toyota Supra for today's video. They have a ridiculous selection of pre-owned cars and a lot of very new ones like this one. So definitely check them out in the description below. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button to see plenty more Supra videos on our channel. I have a ton of videos covering my car from the day I bought it to the way it sits now, and of course more mods to come. So anyways, I will see you guys in the next video.